Your boy Reggie Wright Jr. hit me up and gave me a reason. He just hit me up and he said the reason why the case went feds is because the sheriffs are taking all high-profile cases to the U.S. attorney because they don't like the DA Gascon. They don't like George Gascon because George Gascon is a reformist and he's giving people lesser sentences. He giving them action.
People coming home too.
Yeah,
people coming home.
So a lot of people are hating on George Gascon.
They hating, but they don't realize that some of these guys got 25 years for stealing a slice of pizza. They should have been home. Some of these guys really did their time and they booked them with the criminal history. You know, they already did time for that, what their criminal history has on them, and then they could double back and, you know, rack up the charges. So they took a lot of that into consideration, and I know a lot of personal homies that just came home. So, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm all for that. But I did have last week you asked me about these two guys, what they did they ever have to go to like a reception like they do in the state? And when I was thinking about it, it's not so much a reception, but at the same time, when you're traveling across the state, you will get stopped at places, and you may have to stay there from anywhere from 2-3 days to a few weeks. It's not so much reception, but it's just getting to your destination may take, you know, could take a month. You know what I mean? And real fast, if they ever, I don't know if you ever heard of FDC Oklahoma. But FDC Oklahoma is one of the transport centers. And when you fly into FDC Oklahoma, you know how when you fly in on the plane and you get off the plane, board the ramp, you know, go down. Well, when you pull up in FDC Oklahoma and get off the boarding thing, as soon as you walk off the plane into the boarding ramp, when you come out the boarding ramp, you're actually in the detention center. You know what I mean? And I had never seen nothing like that. We pulled up at that, and you know.
So how long did you stay at FDC?
I only stayed there a couple of days, but I know guys that was there a week, a month. You know what I mean? And it's like you said, it's not reception. It's just depending on where you're going, your flight might not be leaving out of there. But I wanted to clear that up, you know.
But the language that you guys use in the feds wouldn't call that reception.
No, just a transfer center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you went to the state, because you went to the state before you caught your fed case, you went to a reception before you got sent.
Yeah, I went to Tehachapi. And man, I ran into, you know, and I went to reception on 4B. And I ran into Bolo and them. They was up there from Bonnie Hunters with 35 to life. You know, them dudes was up there. I mean, lifers, man, that you knew on the street or had seen on the street or idolized on the street, and you run into them, and they up here doing all this time, you know. And it's like when they look at you, hey, they look through you. You know what I mean? You know, but they honestly be happy that you got 2 or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and they really trying to encourage you to come on, don't come do this. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I did.
So you was there with a lot of older homies?
OGs. Yeah, I ran into some real G
This
homies.
is like early 90s?
This was 93.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Sonny Roof from Elm Street and them. And I'm talking about these dudes were sitting up there. Sonny ended up coming home, but there was a lot of dudes that never would still have it.
So how long would you stay in reception before they sent you where you were going?
A month or two. You'll stay up there a month or two.
What is the whole purpose of reception on the state level?
Well, there's so many people incarcerated in California that their transport system is slow. So they're going to designate your background, designate your, you know, what level you should be designated to, and they're going to send you out like that. So it's a process just basically vetting which yard you go to make sure you're on the right level yard for the type of guy you are or the background that you have. So that's pretty much what it is.
Okay. Well, back to Gascon. Yeah, people are getting action because of Gascon.
Yeah.
But I think he is unfairly being criticized for not wanting to prosecute cases. What he's doing is saying gang enhancements are not fair. Gun enhancements are over the top. That doesn't mean I'm letting this guy go home.
Right.
He's still going to the penitentiary.
No doubt.
He's still going to do some time, but there's a difference between getting 20 to 30 years or getting 50 to 80 years.
No doubt.
Which sometimes the 80-year sentence doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. That's why I say it. And it just seemed like these people just they really don't care. It's like if you're a criminal, period, they don't care how much time you get. You know what I mean? And I mean, at least the feds have a guidelines chart where you can fit into the guidelines, even though it's unnecessary time, it's standard. You know, California and the state systems don't have a standard time. It just depends on what the DA want to throw out there and what the judge want to give you. So you may give for the same crime, you may have one judge give you 6 years and another judge give you 16 years for the same crime. Same criminal background, same everything. It's just depending on how that judge feel about you or your specific situation. And go back to the guys that got to 12 years. What I did here though is you know, those guys happened to didn't have a substantial amount of criminal history, and they still got to 12, you know, and so, but they probably fell into that guideline range, you know.
Now, there's a chance that if Gascon did prosecute it and those guys did go to the state, they might have gotten more than 12 years, right?
No doubt. That's why I say it ain't all gravy over there. You know what I mean? You know, because it's still dependent on the judge. It's just when you break off the enhancement on certain cases, the judge can now only give you, or he should only give you so much time, depending on the gang enhancement and the extra gun allegations and all this stuff. You know.
Well, according to Reggie Wright Jr., he sent me this message saying that Gascon is given too much love. But at the same time, these guys only got 12 years for robbing a watch that cost $500,000, putting a gun to someone's head, busting and hitting another woman. I think the state could have washed them up, right?
Yeah, they could have, and I believe the feds could too if they would allow certain enhancements. You know, but I mean, yeah, that's spoken from Reggie Wright. I'm sure he would love to see. But I don't believe it, you know, because when you go and look at the criminal court system and you go to Orange County and you sit in some of these cases where some of these other people of other color are doing the same exact thing, and you balance out the time, it don't add up in that sense. We are subjected in our mind to believe that 10 years is awesome, 12 years is awesome. You know what I mean? Where do we get that belief from? I don't know, but that's what we, believe in our minds. When over there, it's not. It's ludicrous. It's absurd. You know what I mean? It's over the top. You know, so we got to start, taking into consideration. I mean, it's hard to say people. We talking about people that's committing crimes also. So don't get me wrong. I don't believe that everybody should just get a get out of jail free card. You know what I mean? But make the time fit the crime though. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they could have easily got more than 12 years, even under Gascon.
I agree with you on that
because there were so many different offenses they could have got hit with, even without the gang enhancement. They would have probably got one of the enhancements, the gun or the gang. But before Gascon, some DAs under Jackie Lacey, she would give you both. You get a gun enhancement and a gang enhancement.
True, and she probably would have pressed for the attempted murder. And if she wouldn't have got attempted murder, she would have pressed for the assault with a deadly weapon.
And here's another thing. You say attempted murder on the person that got hit. Some DAs will say, well, there were 3 other people standing next to the person that got hit. I'm hitting you with 3 more attempted murders.
Right.
You know, even though they were, they didn't get hit, I've seen DAs do that. I'm like, wow, just because they were standing next to the person that got hit, that's another attempted murder. So I think these guys, and we're talking about Malik Powell and Kai McGee. They could have easily got more than 12 years under Gascon, but I really don't have a clear answer on why this went fed. I even had another homeboy of mine hit me up and give me a reason. I mean, I got so many messages on this that I have no clue why it went fed.
But I believe all these answers though are significant though, because it could have been anyone.
Here's one. One of my boys said the watch may have been insured by the federal bank. And because of the value of the watch, and if it was insured under a federal bank, boom, federal offense.
Didn't think of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And this is one of my boys that actually been to the feds.
Oh, okay.
So someone said because it happened in Beverly Hills. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, man, they connected over there.
All right. So, hey, if anyone out there knows the exact reason, it might be because the sheriffs, well, this is Beverly Hills PD. Maybe Beverly Hills PD didn't want to send it to Gascon, and they felt like they would get a better, a harsher sentence giving it to the feds. But if anyone knows the exact reason why, holla at your boy. You could send me a message. You can send FG a message. FG's on Instagram at FGeneral1. I'm on all social media platforms at AlexAlonso101. Thanks for watching this video clip of Streets and Scholars podcast with Alex Alonso and FG. If you want to listen to the entire episode, go to your favorite podcast platform and type in Streets and Scholars. But we're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. And thanks for listening to another episode of Streets and Scholars.